So this is how one of the best games I have ever played begins. You start with absolutely nothing, and by the end of the run, you're a fucking badass. In theory. Maybe you're not. Maybe you beat the game just fucking barely. Maybe you haven't even beaten the game yet. You know, maybe you're struggling with something in the game. And that's kind of where this comes in, I think. As a community, we work together and show off the way that we like to play the game in the hopes that new people coming to the game can, you know, get some information, get inspired to, you know, play the game in an efficient way. And that's what this is. It's a run based around efficiency. There's no grinding, there's no farming. It's just doing what you can to get to where you need to go without, you know, in theory, without dying. We'll see how it goes. But at least not taking a ton of damage and just doing the best you can. Speaking of doing the best you can, fuck. God damn it. It's okay, I get him right here. There we go. You can do visceral attacks without a weapon and still do tons of damage. Well, relatively tons of damage, because it all scales with skill. So, you don't really need a weapon right here. So who the fuck makes runs of Bloodborne and Bloodborne videos like this in 2018? And fucking thing's like, what, 3 years old? You would think that all the information that's gonna be there is fucking out there. So who fucking does this? I do. I think it's fun. It's a game that I love very much. It's very personal to me. So I thought it might be fun to, you know, show the way that I like to play for the most part. Normally I don't go to the dream right here, though. I do that later. I'm doing it here because we'll just go ahead and get the saw cleaver. And so you should know that the doll only activates when you have one insight. And the way you get insight is to discover a new area, find or activate a boss, beat a boss, help somebody beat a boss. I'm not going to do none of that. Instead, we get a madman's knowledge later. We eat it. We get one insight, and then we go back to the dream, and the doll's awake. But if you get that one insight and go to the dream, she's not going to be awake the first time, so you have to go twice. It's fucking irritating. So for this run, I just go ahead and get the saw cleaver. Also, later when we go get the 2 shards up above the sewer, you have the option of getting the spear or the shards. And if you want to do one or the other, or if you want to do both, you have to rerun the area, and fuck that. I'm not about that. Those are just pebbles. You don't need that. So you can go right there if you want, and that leads you to the locked gate over here on your left. I don't worry about it. We get some Molotovs that I only use once in the run. Sometimes I don't use them at all. Would have been better if I hadn't even fucking gotten them. You'll see at the end of this video that it's just fucking a waste. So this looks really scary right here, running through this mob. It's not that scary. You can just sort of bob and weave right here. The biggest danger is maybe getting shot by one of these riflemen. I run this zigzag because, right, boop, there, dodged it. So this is shard number 2. We need 8 shards to get up to a +2 weapon. Now in Central Yharnam, the game gives you 8 or 9 shards, but you need 16 to get +3, and that requires farming the beast enemies, and I'm not fucking doing that. We don't farm in these games. So we're just after the 8 shards that you can get. So we have 2, we need 6 more, and that takes us to a +2 saw cleaver. You don't need that much damage to deal with Gascoigne, but if you find that you're struggling to output a comfortable amount of damage. Maybe the fight goes on a bit too long and maybe you start to get a bit too nervous, or he just has more opportunities to fist you. This is a good way to just sort of mitigate those issues. I always get the shake off cape because I don't fucking know why. I always do it. So the saw spear is over there on that body that's hanging. We're not gonna get that. You could sell it for like 500 echoes or something like that. It doesn't fucking matter. Now, if you drop on this first platform behind that beast enemy, he'll aggro and he'll fucking follow you all down the sewers. Just fuck that. Eat the damage. Grab the 2 shards and then just run from the fucking rats and you're gonna be fine, I promise. Now, off to the right, I take the ladder, the first ladder up. You might get shot. I do get shot, but it's marginal damage. It doesn't matter. And it takes us to that shard over there. You can see it on that beam. We're gonna go get them. So yeah, it's probably odd to make a video of Bloodborne in 2018. Like, everything that could be said probably has been said. All the tips and the tricks and the secrets and the challenge runs, and you know, people have sort of, it's all out there, right? What else could possibly be added to the catalog of information about Bloodborne? And honestly, probably not much, but I find it very fun to do this kind of run. And I like the community. Now right here, God, I get just fucked. I get fucked so hard right here. Somebody had come into the room and was fucking talking to me while I was trying to do this shit, and it just threw me off. Now that's the madman's knowledge that we need to gain 1 insight and activate the doll. And then right here, we're gonna go get the music box. Now I have another video where I talk about 2 ways to fight Father Gascoigne with the music box and without it. Here I do a mix of both, the music box and parries with Molotovs, but you'll see that it doesn't quite go... it's not a flawless fight by any means. It's pretty fucking janky, actually. But that's okay. Still good, right? Still awesome, right? No? Fuck it. It is what it is. So now it's just a run to the sewers, and we're going to open up a shortcut and get the last, I think, let's see, 3 shards that we need. Yeah, 3. So I love this game. It's a very personal game to me. The Dark Souls, I would say 1, 2, 3, and Bloodborne, not as much Demon Souls, even though I do love Demon Souls. But Souls games and Bloodborne especially, is something that's very personal and has been something that's been very therapeutic and very restorative in my life. Now, I am of the mind that video games can be art, and they can be therapeutic, and I tend to not view them. I know there's the argument out there that, you know, games are just sort of fantasy and people hide in them, you know, the way people used to hide in maybe like dime store romance novels, or, you know, and just sort of live in a little fantasy, and then reality sort of fucks them, you know, and just can't handle, you know, their shitty life or something. I don't think a game's that way, at least not universally. I'm sure that can be the case, you know, but here I think of it as being something that is I'm gonna abuse the word therapeutic. I've probably said it too many fucking times, but it's fucking true. For me, it was designing runs and coming up with easy ways to begin and end the game, you know, without frustration, and to always feel like you're right on that line of just fucking just overpowered as fuck and underpowered as fuck, you know. And like I said, I don't grind or farm, so it's all about what is the game going to give me in each area that I can use against it. So, and now right here, I get I get kinda lucky with this beast enemy right here that's really busy pushing my shit in. Fuck you. But that's okay, we push him in right. There we... Yeah. We get really lucky. He gives us a bloodstone shard. Now, that's RNG wall to wall. Okay? You shouldn't rely on that. But I'm going to show you where to get the 7th or 8th shard, the last shard that we need. I'm going to show you where to get it, so you don't have to rely on RNG if you decide to do something like this. Now, it's like I said, you don't need this much damage to fight Papa G. He's aggressive and he's annoying as a motherfucker, but he's very manageable with a +0 weapon. I mean, if I can do it on blood level 4, anybody can fucking do it, because I don't claim to be, you know, the fucking master of this game. I go up here and get this cold blood dew, you know. Any echo helps, I feel like, you know. So, Central Yharnam is this area of the game for me that is sort of... It's for me, it's the hardest area in the game, because you're coming out of the blocks here, you know, and the game hasn't really opened up. So there's a lot of room for error, if that makes sense. You know, there's a lot of ways that this shit can go real wrong, and I don't like to die in Central Yharnam. I like to get out of this shit as quick as possible. So, okay, so we picked up the pungent blood cocktails on the first floor, right? Now, past these 2 werewolves, at the very, very end, on the right, is a set of statues. And the shard is behind those statues. You can use a pungent blood cocktail to distract the werewolves. They'll run to that. And then you can go get the shard. There's actually another shard, too, down below that one. But that gives you 9... and that's, you don't fucking need the other one. It's just, it's a risk that you don't need to fucking take, because we're gonna get fucking tons of them in the next area when we go after Bloodstar Beast and Amelia. So here we go back to the dream, and we fuck about with leveling and fortifying and dealing with all that shit, and then after that it's a straight run to Gascoigne, so that we can get kicked jollily in the penis. Get all of our co-op stuff. So yeah, like I was saying, I hear arguments all the fucking time, you know, like over the years, that that games don't have any value. How to say, they don't have any cerebral value or intellectual content, and they don't have any sort of restorative properties, we'll say. So right here, I fucking tiddlywink too goddamn long. I put it all into fucking strength. Spoiler alert, who gives a shit, right? And I go to level 14. It's to be honest with you, with that and the +2 weapon, it's probably a bit overpowered for Papa G, but fuck it, that's what we're doing. Efficiency, bitches. This is a strength skill build wall to wall, so that's where all the echoes are gonna go. I never level anything else other than vitality, and I only do that a bit before, I want to say, Wet Nurse. Definitely before the DLC. So, yeah, I've always heard the argument that games are, you know, they don't have, like I said, those restorative properties. And restorative as in you're going through something. They help you sort of get back intact. You know, they help you in a cognitive or emotional way. I think that is wrong. I do find that to be a bit bullshit. I can say 100%. That games have been, you know, that and, you know, books and, you know, literature and music and everything. It's crazy helpful in my life. Bloodborne and the Soul series, no exception. You know, they're so deep. And there's so much really interesting lore. And beyond that, just learning the mechanics of the game, finely tuning your playstyle to meet those mechanics, and being able to run the game as perfectly as you possibly can, and feeling proud about it, you know. I find that it's a way to sort of put reality back a bit, and maybe, how to say, run away in order to find your way back in. So I don't see it as hiding from anything or not dealing with life. I find it to be a way to take a break and get back into it, you know, so that you are capable. So, Papa G, there is fuck number 1, and there are many more fucks to come. I sort of spam L2 a bit too much because, for whatever reason, my parry game here was just not good. I used the music box a couple of times and go after the charge R2, and in each, I think, all 3 times in his human form, I don't get it. Yeah, I don't think I do. I mean, I do damage, but that's not what you want. You want the charged R2 and you want the visceral, and I just fuck it all up. But I have a +2 weapon, and I've made all these fucking mistakes, and we're still able to get him down. So that should say something about the power of being at this particular level in this fight. Oh wait, I guess I do get one. Oh, well, goody. And right here, watch this Molotov. Just fuck off. How many Molotovs do I have left? Maybe 2? I think 1 lands and 1 doesn't. Jesus Christ. There we go. Kobe. Alright, so that's Papa G. Very janky, very dirty fight, but it gets the job done. Now we'll go up here and we'll get the red jeweled brooch to slot into the saw cleaver once we get the workshop tool. And then after this, it's the run to Bloodstar Beast and Old Hunter's Workshop. The abandoned old workshop, I do believe. Yeah. That's how the run goes. So yeah, very personal game. I love it. I love doing runs, and I love the idea of you know, sharing, you know, the way that I like to play the game. And there are still new players, oddly enough, coming to Bloodborne and coming to the Souls series after all these years. And with Dark Souls Remastered coming out, probably even more people are going to be coming to the Soulsborne universe. And I think that's fucking amazing. And I think that all of us in this community have something to contribute to help everybody out, you know, when it comes to the way that we like to run the game, and our personal playstyle, our personal thoughts, our subjective experiences can really add and help everybody find their way through and to, I think, this fucking amazing game. So up next is Bloodstar Beast, and maybe Hemwick or Amelia.